Hello, I'm shooting this video on Saturday, May 9th, 2026, and it will likely be published a day or two later, but I wanted to give what is hopefully the final update to Openviro pre-orders, let you know when things will be shipping. Spoiler alert, it's very soon, why this has taken so long to get across the finish line, and a look at what you can expect when you finally get your devices in hand. First off, thank you to all of you for backing this project and for your patience as we're getting it across the finish line. I am a solo YouTube content creator who is also starting up a solo devices company, and there's a lot that goes into running two businesses. The hope is eventually I have enough to be able to hire someone to assist with both of these endeavors, but trying to do everything that I want to do without seeking investors or hefty loans is definitely not an easy task, and starting up Openviro was a much larger time commitment than I anticipated it would be last year. The reason most of you are here is likely to hear about shipping estimates, and I have some very good news on that front. As of right now, as you can tell, we have a whole bunch of units ready to go. The first 140 units, that is the Openviro controller and the sensor probes, have been fully assembled, tested, and packaged in their retail boxes. The plan is to have the remaining pre-order units assembled within the next week, that is by May 18th at the absolute latest. The great news is that out of the first 140 units, we have had 0 failures or out-of-spec devices, so the process of designing and manufacturing has gone perfectly on this final batch. Once we have enough units assembled to fulfill all of our backer orders, those will be shipped out to Crowd Supply, where they will ship them to you, the end customers. If you've been wanting an Openviro Axe PoE, but we're waiting for them to be available at retail, I have good news on that front as well. Mouser will be carrying the Openviro Axe PoE on their site immediately after backer orders have been shipped. Those devices are also all on hand and ready to be assembled, and will be shipped to Mouser a couple weeks after backer orders have been fulfilled. And before we get into what took so long to get here, here is a look at the final units. Inside of the box, you will find the Openviro Axe PoE controller in its full aluminum housing. The unit itself is rack mountable and designed to fit on the right side of a server rack inside of a 1U footprint. Next to the controller, you'll find a single sensor probe that measures temperature, humidity, and pressure, and this is all a 3D printed enclosure that was 3D printed right here in-house. Now obviously the design of the sensor probe has changed considerably from the beginning of this project, and I'm really thrilled with how small we were able to get the temperature probe itself. Also inside of the box is a 3-foot RJ12 6P6C data cable, and that's used to connect the controller up to the sensor probe. You can also purchase a second sensor probe, which includes its own 5-foot cable in the package for connecting to the controller. Each controller can support a max of 2 sensors, as we designed this first version of Openviro to monitor rack temperature at either the top and bottom or the front and rear of a rack, depending on your environmental needs. The Openviro Axe PoE controller is a Class 1 active PoE device and can be powered by most PoE switches or injectors. If you don't have a PoE switch, there's also a 5.5mm barrel jack around the rear, supporting 12 to 48 volt DC power, or you can use the USB-C port on the front of the unit. The USB-C port also doubles as the serial port and is how you access the configuration for the controller. As for monitoring the sensors themselves, the Openviro Axe PoE supports SNMP versions 1, V2C, and V3, and utilizes the Entity Sensor MIB. Most SNMP monitoring software is fully compatible out of the box. A few pieces of software, like PRTG, do not include the Entity Sensor MIB by default, but it can be added in manually. Now, we will be working on developing templates for installation in the coming months for easier setup and configuration with whatever monitoring software you choose to use. Now, what took so long to get to this point? Last year when we announced this project, I naively said that units would ship out at the end of summer 2025, assuming nothing went wrong and all shipping and parts availability estimates were correct. As should be a surprise to no one, least of all to me, basically anything that could go wrong with parts availability, shipping, international customs, logistics, and validation testing did in fact go wrong. It's been a year since we announced Openviro and began taking pre-orders. At that time, me and my developer thought we had the final roadmap all laid out as far as the final board design, and thought we had a very good plan to get everything assembled, shipped to us, packaged, and then sent out to you, the customers. Now mind you, this is me working full-time doing videos for Craft Computing and maintaining that side of my business, and my developer working freelance for me on nights and weekends, while also working full-time, doing all of the design work 2,000 miles and 3 time zones away. After the campaign, we set about ordering validation samples of our finished product, and that's when we ran into our very first problem. Part shortages meant that we were going to have to wait nearly 55 days for our first release candidate of our board, which we needed fully assembled from whatever factory we were going to be building them in so we could take them out and do testing for regulatory compliance. So June and July passed without pretty much talk of anything or any updates worth mentioning. Right around mid-August, we got our first validation boards and sensor probes in, and everything delivered, including the final cases that we planned on using, which we promptly assembled. Now, regulatory compliance for things like CE and UKCA require testing with equipment that is well beyond what either me or my developer have access to, so we scheduled some time in an engineering lab to run the boards through the ringer. And that's where we encountered our first major problem. While the main controller passed all testing, including emissions and electrical discharge, the probes were not so lucky, and in the worst possible way. In essence, a static charge delivered to the probe could travel back up the RJ12 cable into the controller, where it found a path to ground through the Ethernet controller. A near-complete redesign of the bottom half of the board was needed, as well as additional circuit protection for both the sensor probes and for the main board, which means a new board design, new spin-ups, new reordering, and new reweighting on shipping and customs. Tariff nonsense, shipping delays, and a Canada Post strike, which prevented me from getting boards up to my developer for at least 2 weeks, meant we were into October. We finally had a good final design though, retested everything, validated everything, and it looked like we could place our final order. Now the original delivery date, I believe, for the PCBs for the sensor probes and the main controller was going to be December 28th, which I just chalked up as early January because of the holidays here in the States. Any delays would also start setting us closer and closer to Chinese New Year, which would delay us into March, and that is something I absolutely did not want to happen. Now, luckily, on December 15th, we received validation pictures for both components, and the sensor probes arrived fully completed on January 4th. The controller PCBs did manage to ship just before Chinese New Year, so we dodged another bullet there, but still didn't receive them until January 28th of this year. So at this point, we had the main boards, sensor probe boards, and the aluminum housings for the controllers, but I still needed to finalize the I/O shield designs for the controllers and finalize the enclosure designs for the sensor probes, along with finding a 3D print farm that could handle this order. So why did I wait until January 28th when I had PCBs for the controllers and the sensors on hand to finalize the design of the I/O shields and the sensor enclosures? Well, variances in manufacturing for the PCBs means that plugs and ports don't always land in the exact positions that you design them for. And I wanted the final boards on hand to check them for myself to ensure everything was actually going to fit. I am a startup hardware company with no pre-existing relationships for manufacturers of any kind for any kind of production. So making sure my designs were accurate and then making sure I could find a manufacturer that could create parts to this tolerance meant waiting to take measurements of the final parts, and not just assuming that everything from CAD would translate into the real world. I had also originally planned on ordering the metal I/O shields from a manufacturer here in the US, but our current administration's war on affordability of raw materials meant keeping that in budget was going to be downright impossible. So I had to find a sheet metal manufacturer in China to make these parts, which also meant waiting for shipping, delays in communications with the 17-hour time difference between me and China, and paying tariffs for importing something that would have been affordable for a small business like mine to order domestically just 18 months ago. But I digress. So I 3D printed what should be my final I/O shield design and then sent out for test pieces to be cut while I finished up the sensor probe enclosure design. Now, since I wanted something other than PLA for the probe housings, outsourcing this was basically off the table in terms of affordability. Instead, I wound up building a small 3-printer farm in my garage with the Bamboo Lab P1S printer, a Cooltac build plate, and a 0.6 Diamondback hot end. This made pretty short work of the probe cases, which only needed 3,600 individual pieces over the course of 3 weeks of nonstop printing. But the end results are pretty spectacular, and I have to say I am thrilled that I went this route. And now I have a small print farm in my garage for future projects, so win-win. Right around the middle of February, our test I/O shields arrived, and I placed an order for the full allotment of 1,400 pieces in total. Those arrived in early March, and at which point we were ready to test fit, order retail packaging, and get everything finally assembled. Now, I'm not one to make excuses, because I know you have all been waiting for these to be delivered for the last year. But the last 8 weeks around here has been pretty chaotic, including a minor car crash that my wife was involved in, a brake failure on my Chevy Bolt resulting in both of our cars winding up in the shop for 3 weeks, my dryer, dishwasher, vacuum cleaner, and my primary studio camera in my Sony a7 IV also just straight up died during this period as well. And to top it all off, I suffered a back injury at the end of April that laid me out flat for almost 10 days. This is seriously only about the 4th day that I'm able to sit at my desk again, and sitting here for about the half hour I have been filming this video, it's already starting to seize up on me again. So things have not been great. None of that should have impacted a normal business, but when I'm the sole operator of both Craft Computing and Openviro, any delays trickle down into everything else, whether it's personal or company related. The good news is we are 100% back on track and should be shipping out final units to Crowd Supply within the next 10 to 14 days. I'll be the first to admit it probably shouldn't have taken as long as it did. I should have realized there would have been logistical failures and parts unavailability and things that crop up that halt production entirely. I should have been more pessimistic about the fulfillment timeline from the very start. But now I'm a little older, a little bit wiser, and I will say that hopefully the wait will have been worth it once you finally get these into your hands. I do want to give a heartfelt thank you to all of you, not only for backing this project, but for your patience as I work on getting this whole thing across the finish line. This has been a learning experience unlike any other I've ever had, and there's no way to know if you have what it takes to be a device manufacturer and logistics company other than diving in and giving it a shot. I now know what to expect when it comes to developing a product for retail, where my shortcomings are in this whole production, and what I need to change moving forward for both continued support of Openviro Axe PoE, as well as when it comes to developing future products. And there will be future products. That's going to do it for me. Thank you all again. I seriously cannot say that enough. But hopefully the next time you hear from me will either be because you subscribe to the channel because you like the content that I produce, or because you receive a package in the mail. Either way, cheers, and I hope to see you soon.